Hi, guys. I literally just recorded this episode and my microphone was not plugged in. So here is round two. Round one for you. But anyway, welcome back to the Realist Podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Howard. How was your week? How are you today? I hope you're good. And I'm excited for you to tag along and listen. Tag along. Well, I don't know. I already recorded this. Okay. I think this is the first time that's happened to me, so I'm a little upset right now. But that's okay. This week we're talking about emotional maturity, how to handle our emotions, how to deal with our emotions, what to do with our emotions, and why they're even here in the first place. I'm really excited for this episode because I feel like this can help a lot of you. And yeah, let me know if it does, of course. So we're just going to get right into it because I've already done this. What are emotions? Like you would think, okay, emotions are just like emotions, like duh. But it's deeper than that. Like emotions are indicators. They're supposed to be here to tell you something is up, something is wrong, something is good, whatever, anything in between. Emotions are here to tell us something. I don't want to like jump because I've already said all of this, so I want to start from the beginning, like for real. As human beings, which is everybody listening, we all have brains, obviously, and part of our brains are thoughts and the subconscious mind and emotions, stuff like that. Everybody has. Every human being has. Yes, men, you too. You also have emotions, and it's okay. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Well, we are. Okay, anyway. Sorry, I had to get that out because I'm just like really antsy now that I already talked about this. But anyway, so as a human being, there's certain things that we can't really control, aka our emotions. Obviously we can't control what makes us feel a certain way or the emotion itself, but we can control how we react to it and what we do with it. I feel like emotions in general are just misconstrued by society and suppressed. But they could honestly be used as a tool. They can honestly help us if we, look at them the right way and actually use them to our advantage rather than suppressing them, thinking that they're just like a burden or annoying. Like God made no mistake. Hello. God made no mistakes creating us as human beings. So emotions, like they're not just like, oh, for us to feel things. Like, yes, that is part of it, but it's also to bring awareness to certain things. So I'm gonna get into that a little bit more, obviously, but there's a reason why emotions are also temporary, because like I said, they're indicators. They're just here to tell you something's up, or they're here to, like, how do I say this, bring something to your awareness. I probably already said that, but once you're aware of an emotion and like you're able to work through it, which I will get into on the literal step-by-step how to, they should be going away after that, or, dissipating or dissolving a little bit at least. The problem is most of us subconsciously or consciously suppress our emotions so they don't go anywhere, because they're not going to go anywhere unless they're addressed. Hence why, sometimes people will lash out at like the smallest thing. And that's because that was just their last straw. They've already had so much emotion and things that they're just like not dealing with, that's bottled down and pressed down and pressed down. Eventually it's going to burst. And I know that we've all probably heard some analogy about that, and that's because it's true. There's a lot of weight that is held in that. So I want to get into first, before solving this quote unquote problem of like emotions and just how to deal with them, I want to get into like what it looks like when you're not able to do that. So just a lack of emotional maturity, which we all low-key have. Let's be for real. And it's okay. I'm 20 years old. Okay, I don't know it all. I don't know a lot of things. I'm very wise for my age, and I will give myself the flowers of that. But I don't know everything. However, I do know how to regulate and control my emotions. And as a Cancer, that's a flex. Okay. So I just, ask that you take my words of wisdom into consideration, because pat myself on the back, I definitely know what I'm talking about. So what happens when you're not emotionally mature is like lashing out at the wrong times or inappropriate times in public, yelling at somebody, doing a lot, the most, right? Like basically not having a control or like hold over how you react to certain things. Another thing is like what you say or do when you're pissed off, and then like later you regret it or just blame it on your emotions. Like that's another big thing that honestly I even used to do. Like I would just react and just do shit out of emotions, and then literally be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. So it's a lot of regret that comes with reacting out of emotion or reacting immediately after an emotion has arisen. Okay. Another thing is like, maybe becoming really easily offended or trying to argue with literally everybody and their mom. That also has to do with ego and like could be about deeper things that we're not going to talk about today. But what's another thing? Like, oh, what the heck? How did I forget this? Completely suppressing things, like saying things like I'm fine or it's okay or I don't care, when in fact it's not okay and you're not fine and you do care. That's just another example. Again, I used to do that as well. But anyway, okay, like not too much because we're here to learn. So let's talk about emotional reactions, because I feel like that's like the biggest thing that we as a human species do. When our emotions arise from something, when our emotions are triggered in any way, 9 times out of 10 there's a reaction that comes from emotions, mostly negative emotions. Like when you're angry, when somebody pisses you off and you like say something, or even sometimes you want to like pop somebody in the mouth or actually do it, or like, you know what I'm saying, like just react, period. Doesn't matter what the reaction is, there's a reaction, and that is what we're gonna try to work on. So when there's high emotions and a reaction, 9 times out of 10 it's almost never good, and it's almost always regretted as well. Example, you found out that your ex or current partner cheated on you, and so you like kidnap their dog or slash their tires or sell all their jewelry. I don't know, like you do stuff out of anger or hurt or all valid emotions, but now you're left with like a literal consequence just because your emotions in the moment, when a year from that point you probably won't even care, or you wouldn't do what you did after finding that out. And it's because the emotion was there. Emotions are temporary. They're not meant to stay forever. They're literally meant to, okay, something's up, let me tell you what's going on, pay attention to this, and then work on it, solve it, whatever you got to do, become aware of it, and then the emotion goes away. But when you act on the emotion, now there's another emotion that comes up, because it's like, damn, now I got to go to jail. That was obviously very dramatic, but I'm just saying, it's like a chain reaction. Is that the right term? Or like a domino effect, like, and not a good one when you react out of emotions, when you're pissed off, or even worse, like saying things and then literally ruining a whole friendship or relationship or whatever. We're not meant to react immediately after an emotion has been, triggered in us. Obviously, it's easier said than done, and it does take a lot of practice and awareness and observation, but with practice, we can definitely do this. We got this. Okay. So after an emotion has arisen, right, we need to observe that emotion, aka feel it, like actually feel it. Like, damn, I'm kind of sad right now. Like, I feel very sad, or I feel very angry. Like, feel it. It's okay. Like, it's literally an emotion. It's fine. Like, we're a human. It's literally normal. It's like like I said earlier, emotions, thoughts, subconscious mind, stuff like that is all in all of us. It's literally in all of us. That would be like being like suppressing like a thought. But hold on, how do I explain this? Like, I'm basically trying to compare emotions and thoughts are the same thing because we all have them. But when it comes to emotions, they're like shitted on, or like, oh, let me turn the other way and act like it's not there. Bro, it's there. And it's not going to go away until you address it. So it's the same thing with thoughts. Like, we address our thoughts, whether they're ours or not, or, you know, conscious or not, we address them. So we should be doing the same thing with our emotions because, again, they're not going to go anywhere. So anyway, I kind of went on like a mini tangent for a second. I'm going to fix my camera. I felt like I was out of frame. Anyway, so yeah, feel them. And then a tip, identify your emotions. Don't identify with them. Don't say, I am my emotion. No. But identify the emotion, aka I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel misunderstood, I feel frustrated, I feel fill in the blank, whatever your emotion is, identify it, put a label on it, like whatever the emotion is that you feel. That will help. Like, I don't want to say disassociate, that doesn't sound like, that'll help detach you from your emotion, because again, our emotions are just that. They're just emotions. They're not us. The problem is we cling on to our emotions as if they are us and then react and do things out of those emotions. Like, no, the emotion is just here to be like, oop, that pissed me off. Oop, that made me sad. Like, and in the grand scheme of things, it's to, okay, why did that make me sad? Like, and you know, like, just learn from it or heal something from it. I'm jumping because there's a whole segment in this episode about that. So give me a second. But yeah, I feel jealous, whatever. I feel frustrated. Notice how I'm saying I feel and not I am, because I am is an affirmation. Like, you don't want to speak an emotion as an affirmation, or like, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm angry, whatever. You know, in the moment, of course, but over time, that's not really good to do. So just get in the habit of saying, like, I feel this right now. Like, I feel like this, because that is you still detaching and letting your emotion be an emotion, which is a feeling. So it's like, I feel like this right now, but this is just current. This is just present moment, how I feel. I'm not this. For example, angry, like, okay, I feel mad right now. Like, I feel angry right now, but I'm not an angry person. I'm not a mad person. I'm just angry right now in this current moment. So being able to be like, okay, I feel like this right now, and just observing it and feeling it and not suppressing it. So that's a big thing, is being able to feel it, identify it, and allow it to be there, because honestly, most people don't do that. So yes. Okay. Next, after said event happened, which triggered said emotion, which triggered this identification of said emotion, now question it. Question why you felt the way you did, or why you feel the way you do right now in this moment. Like, okay, this just happened. This just pissed me off. Why did it piss me off? Like, what just happened in my brain for my brain to react with this emotion? Because everything happens for a reason, and everything is projection. Everything in our 3D reality is a projection from our internal reality, what we need to work on, our subconscious mind, all that. So ask yourself, like, why did that just make me sad? Or why did that just make me mad? Why did that just make me jealous? Like, and ask questions on why you feel the way you feel. Okay, we're back. Where were we? Every 15 minutes, my microphone thingy that I'm recording, like, whatever, it turns off every 15 minutes. So I don't really know where I was, but you know, everything is projection. Our whole purpose of being, you know, a human being on earth is literally for our souls to evolve and learn things. So when we get triggered by an emotion and there's something that we're supposed to learn, like, that's really why it's happening. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. And once you're able to work with your emotions rather than against them, they become a tool. They're not a burden at that point, because you're able to work with it and heal and learn and grow from literally just your emotions. It's really all perspective and how you look at it, and also what you do with said thing. Like, and this doesn't have to just do with emotion, what I'm about to say, but honestly, the only thing that we can control in this life is how we react to things. So most of our reactions come from emotions. So if we're able to have a hold on that and like actual control over our emotions, what, like, shit could just be so much better overall on the daily basis, if that makes sense. Just being able to control how you react to things, control what you allow to let you, what you allow to bother you, really. Like, I don't know. I want to do an episode on like being unbothered, like, because that's honestly, that's the life, okay? Like, it's the life. I love it here. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, it's just like present healing, literally. Like, every time you feel a big emotion or like something big in your life happens and you feel a lot of emotions, it could be more than one emotion. Like, bro, what? Like, my video is not public anymore because of like court reasons, but if you guys know, I had like this huge roommate issue like a couple months back, and I was going through so many emotions at one time, like anger, hurt, happiness, sadness, like confused, frustrated, bro, everything. I was feeling everything. And honestly, what helped me besides like God and just praying was being able to like feel my emotions and dissect why each emotion is there and why I'm feeling each emotion and where it's coming from. Because first of all, they like, you give them way less power when you do it that way. When you are angry or something, or I keep saying angry because it's like the most powerful emotion in my opinion. Like, when you give it that much power to literally allow you to be so angry or react so angry or do things, whatever, you're giving away your power by doing that. So, food for thought. But, okay. So as far as like, I wanted to talk about communication when we are feeling a type of way, or even when an emotion is triggered during communication, aka an argument or even an uncomfortable conversation. There's certain things that we can say to kind of back up and like give ourselves time to dissect our emotions and figure out what to do next, after that. So say, you're having an uncomfortable conversation with a friend or a partner or a family member, whatever, and something they said kind of like made you feel some type of way to the point where like you're low-key not even listening to what they're saying anymore. You're kind of like, you're hurt, like your feelings are hurt or you're pissed or whatever. So you're more internally focused on that emotion, because that does happen, or at least for me personally, when I'm in a conversation with somebody and we're communicating and I don't really like what that person just said, it's hard for me to like keep up with anything else they're really saying, because I'm kind of focused on like, okay, that just made me feel some type of way. Like, why did that make? Because then I start going through my questionnaire of trying to figure out why I even feel the way I feel. So when I notice that I'm kind of checking out because I'm more focused on my emotions and what just triggered that, I stop the conversation. I'd be like, okay, honestly, what you said just kind of like triggered me and made me feel some type of way, made me feel blank, upset, frustrated, overwhelmed, misunderstood, whatever, fill in the blank. It made me feel this way. And so I honestly want to revisit this conversation after I've had some time to like, figure out what that was, or like even just have time to let the emotion kind of dissolve a little bit. Like, obviously it's not going to fully go away, but my emotions right now are very heightened, and I want to be able to give you my undivided attention in this conversation. So I think we should put a pin in this, and I'll spin the block when I feel a little bit better. Because first of all, honestly, communication goes a long way, and that's with literally everything, but especially our emotions, because it's like, I can't help that I feel some type of way right now, but I do. So instead of becoming more hostile or slowly becoming more egotistical in this conversation, more defensive because I feel some type of way, I'm just gonna put a pin in this conversation and we can return to the topic once I feel a little bit better or once I've calmed down and had some time to myself, because that's really a big thing. Like when we're going through something or we feel big emotions or small emotions, just any emotions, when we feel something especially heavily, we need time. We need time to not only just feel it, but like start dissecting and figuring out like, okay, what are we going to do now? Because like it's here. Like, what are we going to do now? So just communicating goes a long way. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable and tell somebody that they just hurt your feelings. Because again, who are they? Like, what can they do about that? What can you do about that? Like, you can't control, again, like what emotions come up when. But again, we can't control how we react. And so that reaction to the, inability to control the emotion, the reaction would be, hey, communicating and just being like, look, I don't know why, but like what you just said kind of made me feel some type of way. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, be vulnerable, because honestly, what I've noticed, me being vulnerable with people has helped them also be vulnerable back with me. So especially in my relationships, like with my partners, men. Sorry, that was just such a like anyway, men naturally, like, society makes them think that they have to like suppress their emotions and be hard and shit. So it's easier for like us women, and like obviously a lot of my audience is women. Of course, if you're not, you can still take this, but like it's easier to be vulnerable with a guy or with somebody, masculine energy period, with somebody who's not really good at expressing their emotions. Be vulnerable and be like, hey, I feel this type of way or whatever. It's like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say psychology. I think it is psychology. Like when you are vulnerable with somebody or you share something with somebody, it makes them want to share it back or be vulnerable back. So that's the same thing with like, if you're constantly gifting somebody something, that person is going to feel obligated or feel the want to gift something back to you. It's the same thing. It's just like energy. So that also coincides with vulnerability. Wow, I'm really dragging this out, but basically, like, I'm vulnerable with my partners, with my friends, with my family, and I just tell them when I feel some type of way, or if whatever they said kind of rubbed me the wrong way or whatever. Like, just communicating goes a long way, especially with our emotions. As grown people, we should not be lashing out at people or saying things that we don't mean just because of our emotions. Like, obviously practice makes permanent, not perfect. I don't believe that it doesn't exist. But practicing this is definitely, you're going to see a change. You're definitely going to notice, like, when you actually put in effort to, like, conscious effort to become aware of your emotions instead of running with them or reacting, it just will take us very far. The end goal here with emotional maturity is to be unbothered and to have full control over how we react to things, because it honestly sucks when like an emotion, like when okay, me personally, I don't like when I'm not in control of what's happening, which is why I went on this whole emotional maturity journey, because I was like, oh no, I want to be able to control how I react to things. And I found myself at one point not able to do that. Like, if I was upset about something, I was going to lash out and say something that I most likely didn't mean, or it wasn't going to come out good, whatever. Or even acting out and doing something dumb. Like, bro, I couldn't even tell you. And honestly, this is like borderline toxic. Like, I used to, out of emotion, if I was arguing with a partner, I would literally just like stop sharing my location with them, or like block them, like, just because I'm mad. Like, girl, now when you're not mad, now you're gonna have to unblock and then look, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a lot that could be avoided if we just worked on our emotional maturity. And I feel like obviously this comes with age and just wisdom and experience as well, but why not expose it, to whoever is listening a little bit earlier? Maybe you didn't even know you needed to hear this, and now you're like, oh shit, like, okay, maybe I do react like this, and maybe I do need to work on, so I don't know. I just feel like this is something that isn't really spoken about that often, like, or at least enough. Like, I'm starting to see discipline over motivation a lot on social media, or like reinventing yourself and stuff like that. But still, hello, we're not really talking about emotional maturity, and I feel like that's kind of a big deal. Like I said, we're humans, and our emotions are a big part of us. So if we're able to have control over that big part of us, just think about how much, good change could come from that. So I don't know. That's it. That's all. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this episode. I really enjoyed making this episode twice. And I will see you guys or talk to you guys next Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. I love you so much. And I hope you have a great week or rest of your morning, day, night, whenever you're listening to this. Yeah, that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Over and out. Love you. Bye.